You are listening to an exclusive on Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. He is out. The Buccos win. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With us, we have Tyler and just Tyler. No Jim.
Just
good
me.
riddance. Good show coming up.
Much better show than usual.
Much better show. So how you doing, Tyler?
I'm here. Pirates won. That was weird.
Probably one of the most fun Pirates games we've had all year. I ask how you're doing, and you say, I'm here.
Look, man, I know we've been talking about like the thought process of tanking being a loser's mentality. But with a month left, I'm kind of like, if they're down 7-1, just lose the game.
But we wouldn't have witnessed this.
But.
Okay.
They played the Cardinals, who are in the wild card hunt. So it's cool.
So that's the caveat. So you would have rather have lost, like if it was, say, the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the L.
Like they did this week whenever they came back on them. And if they're going to come back, I want them to come back because it's Brian Reynolds and Brian Hayes bringing them back. I don't want to watch Yoshi hit a bomb.
Why don't you want to see Yoshi hit a bomb?
I want someone that's going to be here in the future to bring him back.
How do you know Yoshi won't?
He's a free agent after this year.
So bring him back.
Not going to happen.
You don't think?
I will tell you one. Ben Sherrington has done a phenomenal job of catching lightning in a bottle for 1 week from everyone he's picked up.
That's actually the best way to put it. It is lightning in a bottle for a week. And then, well, I guess except for Alford and Fowler.
Yeah.
But after that, yeah, it's like everything I pick up, he just comes here and just dominates. Just completely dominates. Everyone loves him. And then he just goes off and becomes a pumpkin. I don't know. I mean, Jim and I talked a little bit this week about Yoshi. I mean, he has power and he's showing it.
Cool.
Cool.
So does Michael Chavis.
Cool. I know. I'm going.
Big lightning in a
I'm
bottle.
just going to let it play out. As I said, I'm not going to have and hold high expectations for Yoshi. It's fun. It's cool. But I mean, if it lasts through the end of the year and he's getting the playing time, right, and the opportunity, it might be a discussion. I mean, I'm sure he's not going to command a lot of money, obviously, right? He's been DFA'd twice.
And there are enough spots that need opened up for mediocre players.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's fun. Yoshi's fun. I mean, what you're saying, though, yeah, you would, of course, I'm sure, rather see like Brian Hayes, Reynolds be the ones that are dominating. Not that they had bad games by any means. Like, I get what you're saying, though. You want to see them perform and be outstanding and not guys that aren't going to be here. But, again, at the same caveat, I mean, it is fun when we're Defoe's the one, like, embarrassing the Cardinals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the one part. It's the Cardinals who are in a wild card hunt, which they're not going to win. They're not getting into that spot. But
yeah, they're not good.
When it's the Diamondbacks, though, it's like, man, do we have to watch like some guy that's not going to be here next year, bring him back?
Right. And like the thing about your tanking, like I understand. I mean, you want to look at the betterment of like the future. Of course, the higher the pick, the odds are more into your favor, right? It doesn't guarantee anything, but you would rather have a number 1 pick and not the number 5. I mean, that's a fact, right? I would rather have the first pick. Doesn't mean the first pick's going to pan out, but regardless, it's like I get what you're saying. Thing is, like, it's going to be a good pick regardless this year. On top of that, the Orioles are just pathetic. However, can we talk about the Orioles winning their second game? Of course, it's against the Angels. Like, how pathetic are the Angels? You have like the best players on the entire planet on your team, and you let the Orioles end their streak of losing and then win again. They won 13-1 today, I believe.
Didn't they tee off on Shohei too?
I can't remember. Let me look yesterday. I know Shohei was pitching, but I thought he pitched well. But that was only up until a certain point that I saw. The Angels lost 6-10, and Shohei did have four runs in 5 innings, 3 homers.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly not.
So it wasn't as much teeing off as it was on Mitch Keller today.
No, it wasn't.
That was bad. We're at a point. The guy's got like a 7 ERA. You can't put him out there.
So what I find funny, we know the show's coming up after the game, right? You and I know we're doing a show. The game's looking pretty pathetic. And all I can think about is, I'm just getting tired of talking about Mitch Keller. I'm getting tired of the same old song and dance. What's Mitch Keller? What's Mitch Keller? What do we got to do with Mitch Keller? What's happening with Mitch Keller? He comes out here and performs bad. We got to talk about bad Mitch Keller. Now, luckily, the game changed. So it was a good tone.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I hate talking about Mitch Keller anymore. That's just where I'm at. It's not that I'm anticipating, hoping for the season to be over, right? But to a degree, I almost can't wait for the season to be over just to put this all behind us. At least now we can look for a fresh start with Mitch Keller, because he's just awful. And I don't know what it is. We've talked and discussed. We brought up last week, of course, about possibly the bullpen. I don't know if that's the answer, but I'm just at this point, I'm over seeing him. Not that that's best for him. Of course he still needs a pitch. That's going to be the best thing for him, but I'm over seeing him. I'm tired of talking about him.
I think it's more just tired of talking about him, because it's been every week for the whole year, because there's not much else. But we are getting to a point where you got to do something. You can't keep trotting them out there.
So what do you do?
Put them in the bullpen. But we don't need to rehash that.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough.
I know.
It's just the same thing every week.
But it feels like he pitches every time we have a damn podcast.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not him, it's the other Keller, which is him. So it doesn't really matter.
But I'm at the point, I know we don't want to talk about him. I don't even know if his stuff is that good. At this point, he's sitting 93. He's middle. Fastball gets teed off on. The slider and curveball flashes, but he misses with it so much.
Yeah.
And to get to this point, you better have a good slider of curveball.
But that's he was known for that curveball too. I mean,
he
had a great curveball.
Thank God for Bryce Wilson.
Yeah, not to talk too much on, but again, Mitch Keller tonight, he had 3 walks, and all 3 were to leadoff batters. I mean, that's just his MO too, is let's walk the leadoff guy, and then not strike anyone, not throw strikes to anyone, so we get hit, teed off and score all the runs.
I'll even give him that pitch to Arenado that he hit out. It's a good 2-seamer that's off the plate. It's just a good piece of hitting, but that's 2 of the 7 runs you gave up.
Right. Okay, you know what? I'm with Jim. Jim said something. We were going to end it here anyways, but yeah, an incredible comeback. And we're talking about Keller, you negative Nancy's. So yeah, let's move on from Keller. So it was a great comeback. So, again, we were talking about this show, I was just in the depressed mode. We got to talk about this stuff. And then the Pirates come out. What was it? 6 straight hits on Cabrera, no outs. Score all the runs. And I mean, it's 7-11, the Pirates win. What an epic comeback. And just to highlight it once again. So yeah, here's the guys that got the hits. Your hit leaders were Chavis with 4, Moran with 4, and then Defoe and Polanco with 3. There's your elite lineup. Chavis, Moran, Defoe, and Polanco.
More hits than they're going to get the rest of the year.
I don't know. I had so much.
It's just a weird game. Like they hit the ball hard all game, and then they just suddenly hole.
And they were falling.
It-
They're finding holes.
And hey, a lot of talk about Polanco today and yesterday. It was good to see him have a good night.
Let's get into that. Let's get into that. We gloated a little bit here about the game, but let's talk about Polanco. He is such a polarizing player right now. Also, another reason I talked about the season to end. Like this team, this needs to go. Like this team needs to get good soon because, like Polanco is the talk about. Like like how polarizing he is and everything. Like this is why this team needs to get good because as a fan base, we're just completely bored. We're so bored. You know what I mean? That like Gregory Polanco is like the talk of the town and everything. Now, obviously, with everything that happened this weekend, you say it's good to see what happened to him, and I agree. It was
as a personal thing.
It was reported erroneously some things about Gregory Polanco, which wasn't true. He would just put on waivers. That's it. Just put on waivers.
Many of players are.
Right. No big deal. So there's a lot of people out there, he came out today and talked about, he had some words, and of course people, expand upon them and make him more than they are, but, he was honest. He was just being honest. Like he's upset. I'm out there in right field. I'm trying hard every day. I'm putting in the work, and I'm out there and I hear people talking about, DFA, chanting, you suck, get rid of you, release and all this stuff. And, it makes him sad. It hurts him. I don't disagree. I have some words on this, like as a player, I get everything he's saying. Like, I don't look at it and say, you need to toughen up. You need to do this. He has been like he's been going through this for a while, right? Am I wrong?
No, he's been pretty polarizing since he's gotten here.
Well, that's true, but I'm saying like the poor performance and everything, like this has been going on for quite some time. Through this entire tenure of Polanco, right? And a lot of the poor performances, he's done it with a smile. You've never heard him complain. You've never heard him being outspoken about the fans, this and that. So I want to say, like, for the people who are saying, like, toughen up, get out there and play, he has. He's literally done that. Like, this is the first time you've ever heard anything. The other thing that bothers me is, I see the comments out there that, we pay for your, first off, he's the highest paid person on the Pirates, which means like what? You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're the best JV basketball player on the team, right?
You would know something about that.
I'll take that one from you, Tyler. But so right, like, okay, great. So he's the highest paid. One thing, it's not his fault, right? Okay, so it's not his fault he's the highest paid. And the thing is, like, okay, and he stinks. Like, we're out here, we pay your salary. First off, I'm tired of hearing that stuff too. Like, you don't pay his salary. I don't want to hear that. If you pay his salary, then you know what? You pay the waitress's salary too. And that gives you the right to scream and holler at the waitress in the restaurant? No. Right? You pay the salary of the person you're going to buy your washer and dryer off of? Can you just yell at them in the store that you're buying the washer and dryer off of? Like everyone pays everyone's salary. We're all customers of something. That doesn't give you the right to be an asshole to anyone and everyone. So, like, I don't like that argument either. And the other thing about this too is, yeah, he does stink. Like, I totally agree. As I said before, I wouldn't be upset if he was DFA'd. I'm not upset that he's on the team either. I understand both sides of this. But he is on the team, and he does stink, and he realizes that too. But it's not as if, like, I don't want to say you can control it. What I mean? Like, he just stinks, but it's not as if he's done something, like, egregious. It's not like he's Alex Rodriguez, who, cheated numerous of times, just like a bad dude, and you're the home team, you're booing him. You're booing for, like, this reason. Polanco just stinks. And I know that sucks, right? But, like, to me, that doesn't give you the right to feel like you can be an asshole to him. That's where I'm at. I mean, you don't have to be a terrible person just because the guy everything the right way. Yeah, he stinks. And I'm sure he feels a lot worse that he stinks than you, than myself, than anyone listening to this, or anyone sitting in the right field stands.
Sure, he does, but you're a professional athlete and you're going to get booed by an asshole by booing someone. Like, yeah, people cross the line. It is what it is, but he's a professional athlete. They get booed all. You got to get over it. He stinks. You said it. But at the end of the day, they keep him on this team because it's a developing team and you need a veteran clubhouse presence like him in there. Also, no one else is picking him up. So apparently he's worth more to keep on this team than he is to be sent off and get paid to do nothing. But you're a professional athlete. You're going to get booed. You got to get over it. And I'm not saying he was whining about that. He wasn't. He was just answering a question.
Mm-hmm.
But the people, I see the tweets are, it's wrong to boo guys, this, that, and the other. Professional sports, they get booed. Get over it.
Yeah. I'm not just like discrediting what you say. Like they do get booed, but that's part of what I'm saying too. Like he's been being booed for a long time. There's been a lot of people calling for him for a long time, and he has taken it fine. And he goes out there with a smile, you know. So like I was end that like, oh, he's being a crybaby and he should man up, and he's done that.
Yeah, I don't think he's being a crybaby at all. I think he just answered a question.
That's exactly how I felt, and it was honest. It was open and honest. But what really kills me is the reason he had to answer that question right now. Like to me, that's the problem. Is the reason he has to even ask or answer these questions. It's all
because it was poor reporting.
Exactly. From a terrible report that should never even happened.
No, it really shouldn't have, because it's a waiver. He got placed on waivers. Like probably 70% of Major League Baseball players get placed on waivers.
Right.
It happens all the time, and then they get rescinded if they get claimed half the time. But they play small waivers. It just happens. It's baseball.
Yep. And you don't, I think the thing is too, like you just don't hear about it as often now because there's no actual like waiver deadline. Where before it was like getting leaked. You know, hey, this guy passed waivers, so now anyone him, you know, or this guy, there was a waiver claim placed on this player. So who is it? You know, and are they going to trade him or, you know, get, you know, there was reason, there was more newsworthy reasons to report this stuff. Now he isn't opposed to just he's on waivers and he's open to anyone.
Well, but
who's also performing.
But like, do we really need to see him?
No, we don't. It's just, it is funny though. It's Wilmer Difo is performing. He's actually, I mean, he's come in clutch moments. He's looked good.
Yes.
He's gotten lucky like tonight. I mean, I felt like two of his hits really shouldn't have been hits. But
I don't think Chavis's hits really should have been hits either. But
he got 4 of them though.
I know.
Don't lie.
But once again, you got to see him play.
Yeah. I mean, since coming up, he's gone.
There's a lot of pop in that bat.
Yes. And that's the thing too, like with Yoshi, like it is there. It's a real skill he has. He's got pop. But if you can't hit, the pop doesn't really matter.
Exactly. But we got to find out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what better time than the present? Because everyone else sucks.
It does.
And there's a giant black hole at second base. What's the harm in giving him some at-bats?
No, all of them. I was going to say, so I mean, since coming up, his first game, now it was against Arizona pitching. I get that. But his first game, 0 for 4. Then he went 2 for 4 with a home run. 1 for 4 tonight. 4 for 4, right? Hold on, let me pull it up. As I stop, he didn't go 4 for 5, did he? No, he did. 4 for 5 tonight. So, I mean, he is hitting. It's nice to see. He did have the home run. Yeah, I'm just with you. Like with Chavis, I have very, very low tempered expectations for him. You know, I wasn't very high on the trade to begin with. It's kind of been a bust. He's really sucked in the majors, right? He's kind of looked and fit that quad A type of mold, right? Done well in the minors, not so well in the majors. So very tempered expectations, but you're seeing, I mean, essentially everything you need to right now to just say, well, here you go. Like keep getting your chances in at bats.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else there. There's no one else to give at bats to at second base. Are you going to give him to Marcano? No, he's better off playing every day in AAA right now. Like Chavis, the time is now. You either perform or we're not keeping you. Because once again, we got a roster crunch.
Of very bad to hopefully average players.
Yeah. So you got to figure out who's the best of those
Who's the average?
possibly below average players.
Right. No, that's just the thing. Like you just have to. I mean, again, we've talked about it. Like that's why the trade deadline was maybe a little bit puzzling and such. There's been a lot of guys that are Rule 5 eligible. So that's really what you're doing. You got to find out like who's going to stick or not. You know, is Hoy Park going to be protected next year or not?
Yeah. And there's too many guys. And Chavis is at that point right now where you got to know, is he going to turn it around? Because we've seen enough at AAA. We know he can hit AAA pitching.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think he could hit Major League pitching, but he hasn't really been given a true opportunity, even in Boston, to hit it.
And like too, think about that too. Like with these players, like what pressure? You know, you're thrown up here in the majors. Like think about Hoy Park too. You know, like Chavis, like you're thrown up here, and you know, this is you got
a month.
This is your performance. Yeah, I mean, the struggle of being a pinch hitter, right? Like you just get thrown into the game one at bat, and you got to perform. You know, this is like the pinch hitting of the season. You know, you're thrown up here, and it's like you got a month. You got to perform because if you don't, you might not have a job next year. So there's a lot of pressure for these guys too.
Hell, for Hoy Park didn't even get a month.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
A lot of guys aren't even going to get a month. Once you have like a 1 for 19 skid, next there's a bunch of them waiting who aren't very good, but they can just keep spinning that wheel.
Yep. And it's not to say Hoy Park won't get, but you probably want to end the season on the roster rather than not.
Yeah.
So
and Hoy Park will probably get a lot of Polanco's at bats down the stretch, I believe, in September. Once rosters expand, and then, I mean, even I know Gammel's played well, but I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing him get sat down a little bit, because there's just so many guys that you got to see.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then too, because I wanted to talk about some players, not just like these guys too, but we'll bring up Gammel because that's very interesting. You know, we talked about the roster crunch as it is. You know, I wouldn't suspect Gamble in a long-term plan for the Pirates by any means. Like he's not playing in 2024, 2025, right? But he does have that year of control. He is playing well. So as you said, like he could give up some at-bats, which I think could play either way. Like if the Pirates had plans to keep him, they could still give up at-bats because I think they have enough idea of whether they're going to keep him or not, right? But if they feel like they don't want to keep him, of course it makes sense to give up at-bats. So my question to you is, even with this roster crunch and his 1 year of arbitration left, do you think Gamble is back next year?
I would tend to lean that he will be, just because the corner outfield's not going to be a position of strength next year. I mean, there's nothing there other than the guys we're talking about.
No Polanco?
Polanco's gone. Gamble up. Swaggerty's still rehabbing. A lot of the guys that we're looking at are in Double-A. You know, Matt Frazier, O'Neal Cruz.
Frazier, I think, had another double tonight at least.
Yeah, he did. But there's a lot of there are guys that are probably going to fill those spots by the time Gamble's gone. But I think he probably starts in left field on opening day next year. Yeah.
I think I'm with you. Like, as much as the roster crunch is, and you probably want to try to protect as many players as possible, Gamble's good. Like, he has been solid. You know, is his tenure with the Pirates, he's played in, well, tonight would be 81 games, and he's produced 1 WAR. 100 and... Well, I guess I don't know what he is with the Pirates. On the season, has a 107. With the Pirates, he was on a 111 weighted run created plus to date. I mean, he has been good. He's been productive. And you're absolutely correct. Like, there is nothing as far as the outfield in general goes next year. Like, it's Brian Reynolds, and then who's left? So Gamble,
not much.
Gamble fits in. And the thing about Gamble too is I feel like with this year, him being part of the Pirates for a length of time, and just like the way it worked out, like he wasn't like really a trade chip. But I feel like if, he could be a trade chip next year. You're not going to get a whole lot for him, but if he's a 2 WAR outfield, corner outfielder who has a bit of a bat, you can trade him off next year.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be a 2 WAR outfielder, but I mean,
He
at
might
the
be.
very least, he's a guy that you can pencil into the lineup at the beginning of next year and maybe not have to go out and find someone a stopgap.
And
Because at the end, if they get rid of him, they're going to have to go find another stopgap.
well, that's a good point. I know, like, where I stand is I would prefer not a stopgap. Like, if they don't keep a Gamble, it's because they're saying we offer this guy a 3-year deal. You know, we went out and we improved. Like, we don't want to settle on a Ben Gamble. We wanted to go ahead and improve and get something better. I don't know where they're going to go with that.
Happening.
I'm kind of with you as well. I wish it would, but I will say this: like, I would. That's why I think I want Gamble. You know, because at least he is solid. He also is a veteran. I mean, I like the guy. I think
like him, but he's played okay.
No, I'm not talking about like performance. Like, for the reasons that we like Polanco, like in the clubhouse, everything you hear about like Polanco, like Gamble kind of just seems like he fits on this club. Like he's literally a pirate. You know, like, just put a patch on him and he is a pirate. He just seems to, he's the blue collar guy. You know, he gets down and dirty and he just seems like he probably fits with this clubhouse. So I wouldn't mind seeing him next year for those reasons. If you have that veteran presence who's just there to be, you know, the dude, like he's mentioned, Gamble's a good fit.
Yeah, he's and like you said about the going out and finding a 3-year deal, you got to find 2 of those. You still need to fill another corner outfield spot.
I mean, let's at least just start with 1.
I know, but in order to get rid of Gamble, you need 2 of them because left and right field would be empty. So yeah, I'd hang on to him.
Yeah. We have a question here from Pez N8. Says, how much would it cost to poach the top 5 pitching coaches in the game and fix Keller? It's kind of a loaded question. I mean, for one, how much would it cost? I mean, what's available?
I don't know what pitching coaches make.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't know that a pitching coach is going to fix Keller at this point. I think Keller's going to fix Keller.
So much the money. I mean, who's really available? I'm not even sure who's truly going to be available next year. Like, as far as a pitching coach to even, you know, entice to bring on over. But the next part is, I think Rod's getting at too. I don't know if it's a pitching coach at all. Like, at all. He's gone through 2 of them.
Yeah. God, more than that. Sent him down. It didn't work either.
Oh,
Joel
Hanrahan
couldn't figure it out.
Technically speaking, yeah. Technically speaking, right. But as far as the major league level goes, he's gone through 2 tenures and a Joel Hanrahan, who has nothing but great reviews on, you know, like, there's a lot of talk around Joel Hanrahan. So you're right. Like, is another pitching coach going to change anything? Is that his problem?
Some guys just aren't very good and can't figure it out. I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to be a believer in that. Also, we haven't really got a good read on Oscar Marine so far. I haven't really seen him improve anybody.
No. He's
just kind of flown under the radar.
It's been
he
kind of
hasn't had much to work with.
Part of it is that. I don't want to feel like I'm going soft, but so, like, for one, like you said, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. And for 2 as well, like, it's one thing I've always said about this year is going to be weird because, like, innings management, but I haven't seen much of that. That was like my thing going into the season. I thought there could be seeing, okay, like, for instance, like this magical 70 pitch count that, like, every pitcher has. You know, is that because of innings management? Is that because of Shelton stinks, or what is it? To me, I've always felt that's more of like the innings management part of it. But so regardless, I've always felt they might pitch differently and use pitchers differently this year. I don't think that's so much the case though. But I'm with you as far as like the pitchers. I haven't really seen, like, they're doing stuff differently to a degree, but it's not as if I've really seen someone really take off. The one person that you could have said was JT Brubaker, and that's completely changed now. So
maybe Bednar, but I mean, I think that was just already there.
It could have been, yeah. Like we don't really know what the past was.
It's not like when Ray Searage came in that first year and the entire rotation got better. We're not seeing anybody really get better.
No. I'm trying to think. Like,
I don't know that I don't think he's getting the most out of his guys. I'll put it that way.
It's like
nobody's overachieving at all.
Right. You know, like, I'm trying to think, like, even like the veterans. Like, think of like Rich Rod, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he was already good.
He was better than what he was, but he was also better than, like, he just had this part, like this gap, which is pretty wild. I think it was like over a season in like a mixture of two combined, where he just like had this really, really rough stretch. But outside of that, he was always good, and he still was good. You know, like
Tyler Anderson was still Tyler Anderson. I don't really think he overachieved. He was still a 4.5 ERA guy.
I mean, he was out of cores. That also helps usually.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's actually pitching very, very well right now too. So with Seattle, yeah, like I just kind of go down the list. You know, like even like Chris Stratton, like he's had this stuff. Most of the people have been about in line where they would have been.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're just tweaking things. Like Rich Rod was nothing but fastball, but he was also good before, you know, when he was using his slider a lot more.
I haven't seen anyone overachieve.
Mm-mm.
Like there's nobody that Oscar Marin can go up and put a stamp on.
Yeah,
like when he's building his resume, there's not one guy on this roster that could be like, I fixed him.
No. But like you said, like it partly is because
these guys suck.
Right, you know. The thing is, the token person would have been Mitch Keller. Like that would have been his success. If he would have came in, Mitch Keller would have performed, that would be you pointing your finger and say, all right, Oscar Marin did it. Because that's really the only guy on this team that like has that pedigree, has that behind him, that he can come out there and be this dude. And it's like, all right, we got Mitch Keller back. Like, good job, Marin. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is kind of like, well, you know, they could be something. Who knows? And if they end up becoming something, it's like, yeah, okay, but they're still not going to be like great. You know, like again, like with Brubaker, he opened my eyes. Now he's very, very bad again. But like Brubaker again was almost that person. Like, wow, Oscar Marin like made this guy a very, very good rotation guy. Where I just thought he was going to be like a bullpen guy. So good job, Marin.
Yeah.
Again, he fell off. I don't know if that's all just innings, what it is. But yeah, like Keller definitely would have been that guy, and he's not. But to your point too, maybe it just is because Keller isn't that guy.
At some point, you've dealt with a lot of pitchers. One of these guys has to overperform. Come on. Give us something to hang our hat on.
I know, man. It's a good point, though. He's just flown
under the radar.
I liked the hirings. Not so much Shelton. Shelton just kind of like, whatever, I'll give him an opportunity. I didn't hate it, didn't love it, just was whatever. I liked a lot of the hirings, but so far with what you're saying on both sides, like offensively and pitching wise, I'm not impressed by anything.
Yeah, I'm not ready to fire any of them. Well, I could fire Shelton whenever. I don't really care. But I'm not ready to fire Marin because of this pitching staff being bad. This pitching staff was supposed to be bad. But if we don't see improvement from anyone next year, he might be a spot to get looked at.
So that's to go back to how I was kind of preferencing to begin with, right? Like I kind of give this year a bit of a pass because of last year and such. I'm with you. It's not like I'm like, I want to fire Marin. I'm not impressed by Marin so far, but I will give it to next year. I think on all the coaching staff, I will give it next year. Next year being like the first, God, if we have a season next year being the first year of like almost everything being completely normal, all things remaining the same. That's almost like do or die for everyone. And I think
there's no season. If there's no season next year, I'm firing all of them. We'll just start fresh.
I'm with you. I would rather not take the chance.
Not even going to waste time. Let's just start fresh.
Shelton's definitely gone. I mean, my mind's made up with him. Absolutely. For all the other coaches to this point, I'll kind of give a pass, which sounds like a pass right now, but I'll give him another year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to burn him at the stake yet, but I'm also haven't seen anything that makes me excited about them being in the future.
Yeah. Oh, again. So again,
I mean,
go ahead.
Hitting wise, I think they've done better than.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like we talked about the pitching, yes. So like, let's preface now the hitting part. I don't know, man. Reynolds, that's definitely a guy. Like you can hang your hat on and say, like, look at Reynolds. He played well his rookie season. He played terrible last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's playing way above what he played his rookie year. You know, so like you can hang your hat and say, like, Reynolds, look at him. He's a dog. He's good. Other than Reynolds, though, I mean, Hayes is.
I think you can look at Ben Gamel, but like that's what I'm saying. Pitching wise, you don't have even a Ben Gamel, a guy that he's been nothing, and then he showed up here and he's been productive. Not a star, just a decent role player. We don't have that pitching side. Ben Gamel's a guy that really never hit.
I didn't get to him, but the one guy I was gonna say that I felt could have too was Sam Howard. I really have liked Sam Howard, but he's just been too injured this year that you really haven't seen like the length of sample. You know what I mean? Just like
even to go back to like a Kyle Crick. The guy's slider moved more than maybe anyone's in baseball. They just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
I throw Sam Howard in that mix too because he walked everyone under the sun.
Yeah, I liked Howard a lot this year. I've been really impressed by Howard. Again, Bednar has looked good.
Stratton. It's good to see Stratton at a back end role though.
How about Stratton tonight?
Yeah,
looking
very nice.
Filthy again.
That's a nice trade chip that you could possibly get. I know we talked at the deadline about possibly trading Stratton. I think Sherrington did the right thing by holding on to him. Giving him an opportunity in the back end.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, I don't know what was offered. I assume not much since he wasn't dealt.
Probably not.
But I like Stratton. I have a lot of faith in Stratton. I've been impressed by him. He does have a lot of movement on that slider. So, and he looked filthy tonight too. I don't know. I feel like we're harping again, but
yeah,
that's a very fair point. Like you said with the coaching, especially the pitching and Oscar Marine. Can we also say is Tomzik going to last another year? I feel like
how he's lasted as long as he has.
We can talk about him more, I think, than any of the coaches and managers, right?
This team gets banged up. It's baseball. How do you get hurt this much? I get it if you hit in the hand with a pitch, but like tweaked hammies. And do you guys stretch?
I mean, just not properly, apparently.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I guess they probably just go in the IL to make sure they don't get DFA'd. Guy Tom tried it. He got to keep his job an extra month.
I was going to say, right, I'll take that, right? Got some major league time, got some major league money, then get DFA'd. I'll wait. I'll milk out this. Oh, you know what? I'm still tight.
Yeah, it's
still tight.
Tender, coach.
Need a few more days. All right. So, anyways, what was I just gonna say? Oh yeah. So to bring this all back, right? Reel it back in. We talk about Gamble next year. So, and we're talking about the hitting and such. Colin Moran, and maybe this goes a little bit to the hitting as well. Colin Moran is starting to catch fire again, right? We talked about the injuries and the season he's had. It's been weird because he hasn't really been able to settle in and just hit. Like he did early on, got injured, and hasn't really come back. But he's been in the lineup again tonight. Again, 4 hits. What do you think about Colin Moran? That's your dude.
I know, but I'm okay with it if he's not on the team next year.
Are you for real?
We know what he is
because they have Yoshi.
Exactly.
All right.
We just know what he is. He's gonna probably put up a 110 WRC plus, play average defense, and be under a 1 WAR, and be a below average hitting first baseman. That's what he is. There are too many first basemen that you can get on the cheap who are better.
I can't hate it. It's to me it's unfair. I just want to be such a Colin Moran believer because of what we saw last year, and it carried on over into the beginning of the season, and the injuries just blew it up. I want to see one more year of Colin Moran too.
I just think that you can get a better first baseman for cheap.
You probably can. He'll
Every
be
year,
cheaper.
he's the same player. Every year, he's going to be in the bottom 10 of first baseman hitting wise.
What does concern me is the power.
It ain't there.
Again, like at the beginning of the season, it kind of was. He's come back. Since he's come back from the IL, he's hit just two. It was all in the same game. Not a whole lot of doubles either. So a little bit worried, but he is playing better recently. I don't know, man. Like I would like to see Colin Moran again on this club. Ben Gamble, I would like to see next year, unless they decide to improve. So, okay, well,
you want to improve the outfield before the easier position to improve first base.
I know. Well, I was going to say, I guess that kind of goes hand in hand. I feel like if they're going to improve on Ben Gamble, then you probably also improve on Colin Moran.
Colin Moran can be improved upon pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just find some fat guy that can hit but not play defense.
Yoshi. I know. Give me all the Yoshi. I want to see Yoshi. I really do.
Oh my god.
I have my expectations are low. I'm sure this is going to go away, but it would be fun. You talk about the diamond in the rough. You talk about finding these players like
the Rays find every year.
I know
to play first base.
It's Yoshi's now hit 4 home runs. Again, that's a trait. He's got the power. He has actual power. He's got 4 home runs so far. Like if this guy, what if it just is finally clicking for him? I mean, he's played well in Japan. There was a
What if it was finally clicking for Nagowski? What if it was finally clicking for Castro?
Yeah, but Nagowski couldn't hit for power. He couldn't even hit to the warning track.
Yeah. I don't understand why everyone got so gung-ho on that guy.
Oh, because he was batting like 450 for 2 weeks.
Phillip Evans. My God, go down the list.
Yeah, Evans. So another question. How do we feel about bullpen Cool? That's a very good question.
3 years too late.
You lead that off, Tyler. How do you feel about Cool in the bullpen?
I think it should have been done a long time ago, but I also get why they didn't do it. Let me restart that. I think it should have been done 3 years ago. Then when we get to the point where we're at now, I think there was more upside in keeping him in the rotation, just in case somehow he figures out a third pitch. But now we're at a point where he's a bullpen guy. It's what he is. I would rather see some other guys in the bullpen, but I think there's going to be some upside with Cole in the bullpen. That might be another trade chip next year. It's another back end potential guy if he buys in, which I think might be a question mark.
Yeah. You know how I feel about Chad Cole. So he's the one that got away. He couldn't
I was afraid he was going to be another Charlie Morton.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't afraid. I knew he was going to be another Charlie Morton, but that didn't pan out. So here's the thing. I'm with you. Talked about at the beginning of the year. Chad Cole, to me, he has all the makings to be a very, very good reliever. I just also thought he had some traits, the stuff I really like, that he could be a serviceable, a good. I never talk about ace Chad Cole, right? But I felt like he could definitely be a good starter. That clearly didn't become the case. I like bullpen Chad Cole. I haven't seen enough from him yet to really, oh yeah, he's in the bullpen now and he's doing great. It's fantastic, great move. But I do sense that, he's not going to get any type of return as a starter because he's a bad starter. So let's put him in the bullpen. Let's see what he can do, because you are right. I mean, we know how bullpen arms go. They're always needed. And if he can show that he is really good, then you're right, you might definitely have a chip on you. I'm not even so sure about late innings. I mean, let's think about next year. Bednar's the closer, right? I mean, right? Stratton's doing what he's doing. It's not that this bullpen's going to be good again, right? But I feel like this is going to be a talk as we talk every single year. Like there are definitely going to be some good, intriguing guys in the bullpen. It might be a strength, even though the strength is poor, if that makes sense. Like this year, right? The bullpen's going to be the strength, but the bullpen's like the number 20th ranked, bullpen in baseball because everything else is ranked like 29th and 28th. So I could see like Bednar, like it's going to be good. The thing about Cole is I could see him being like what Chris Stratton was this year.
Yeah.
And that also like makes sense. That's a lot of value. Like if you can be a 2-inning guy, especially in this day and age wherever a starter's going 5, maybe 6 innings, you can have a Chad Kuhl who's getting the 60 plus innings a year, right? 60, 70, 80 innings a season as a reliever who's let's think about like Josh Hader. I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Hader, but no means about comparing Cole to Hader. But I think like how Hader's been used, right? He's not like the late inning guy. He's not the closer, but he was always put out there to give the innings and such. And like if Chad Kuhl can be in that type of role,
I'm thinking like a Chris Davinsky with the Astros a few years ago.
When he was good.
Yeah, when he was good. And he was good.
Very, very good point. I think he had 100 innings that year.
Yeah, he was unreal.
And then he turned to a pumpkin. So,
but like we're talking about Chad Cole in the bullpen, we also want Keller in the bullpen. We want Brew Baker in the bullpen. We're running out of guys to put in the bullpen.
Let's just bullpen.
Everyone's in the bullpen. We'll figure it out.
Let's just do what the Dodgers do to the Pirates every game. Just have nine guys go at you.
Might as well.
Yeah, but I am again, I don't have much to say about Chad Kuhl right now because it's been limited time and he's performed right in the bullpen. But I am anticipating the future and what's to come of Chad Kuhl in the bullpen. I think he can definitely be really good.
Yeah. I mean, he's got stuff for it. If he buys into it, it'll be fine. We're going to have a hell of a bullpen. Too bad there's going to be no lead to hold.
Again.
We're going to have all these back end arms that don't have to hold a lead ever.
Right.
And Dwayne Underwood's going to be throwing 150 innings.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I'm happy this game happened. The Pirates are winning. Like that's also another thing. Like the Pirates are just winning now. It seems like all the bad teams, like the Diamondbacks, has now found like winning. The Pirates have found winning. I don't know. And against the Cardinals, like you said, it's been
I'll take wins over Cardinals.
It's been kind of a fun couple of weeks right now.
Although if like say for some reason like these games are the reason that they miss out on Elijah Green and we end up with a pumpkin and Elijah Green's a stud in 5 years, I'm gonna be pissed off.
All right. It's way too early to truly talk about draft season.
No, but
no. But to your point, something I'm going to say. Is it not so far early hype about this upcoming draft? Like for all this
so much more than this year.
Right. For this 2021 draft, there was a bunch of players wrapped in it because it was like, well, no one really stands out. No one's really that good. I should say no one's that great. They're all good.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this upcoming draft, there seems to be a lot of great that now we're starting to see, well, here's the new number one. And it's not because, well, this person's not as good. It's just, well, wow, this guy's that great too. Well, no, actually, this guy's really great. So I know what you're saying. That's why I kind of feel too, like with this number one pick, right? So far we're seeing like there's like 5 guys that could be, or more that could be like really, really good.
As long as they stay in the top like 3 to 4, if they end up like slipping back to him going on a streak and getting like the 6th pick, I'll be a little annoyed.
I mean, they're not that good, Tyler. I mean, they're playing well, but they ain't that good, Tyler.
Look, this is what I think about. is in 5 years, if they miss out on a stud because they went on some stupid streak in 2021,
Is this going to be the
when
Chris
Wilmer
Archer?
Defoe was hitting the ball off the wall,
Is like
and
the
they're
Chris
coming
Archer
back
thing
from
again?
7
If the
freaking
Pirates
runs.
didn't win 13 straight games in September,
Yes, we would have Elijah Green.
right? This is the franchise, altering stretch of games. Right? I mean, the Pirates didn't go on that streak in July. They never would have traded Chris Archer. And guess where we would be at right now?
Probably still terrible because Meadows would have been a pumpkin and Glasnow would be out of baseball.
And Neil would still be the GM. Which, still finding out if that's good or not good right now.
Yeah.
We're still in wait and see mode because everything we talked about this deadline, it's some questions about this deadline.
So the
Marcano
worst part
stinks.
about baseball is waiting.
Marcano's,
It's not playing well.
there's no need for anyone who's also clamoring for him to, well, get him up here, let the kids play, sit Polanco because Marcano should be up here. No, I'm not quite sure if Marcano should be in AAA the way he's performing in AAA.
Marcano might be hitting like 050 if it wasn't for his drag bunts.
That's, I think, like what, I don't want to say anger, right? But his highlights, that's his highlight. That just upsets me. I'm like,
Yeah.
it just makes me uncomfortable that this guy, his highlights come from tricks, not from like being good. It's not like, you see like Matt Frazier constantly like, tweeting out this and that video because this home run, that double, this. And it's like, oh, and here's Marcano. He tricked the pitcher.
Look at how fast he is. He beat out a bunt.
Right. And I'm just like, oh, that just, it's not good,
Does
man.
does he swing at all?
A little bit. Just enough to go between the pitcher and the second baseman.
God.
Anyways, another day, another dollar for that. But yeah, I think we've expressed our trade deadline a little bit about Cherington. Yeah. So I don't know. We can maybe wrap this up. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Not this week. We'll see next week. We'll see how another week plays out with cooling the bullpen, cooling the gang. Oh, that'll be fun. Cooling the gang next year.
Cool in the game. All right. Well, then we'll get out of here. I guess we'll see you all next Tuesday morning. Another edition of Starbucks. So, bye-bye.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.